You are completely capable of changing your own life. And sometimes it may not feel that way. You may be stuck in kind of a cycle of frustration and being like, nothing ever really works out for me. And I see things work out for other people, but it just never works out for me. And I want you to know that you are completely capable of making these changes that you're seeking. So if you're looking to improve your life, if you want to get out of the kind of ho-hum, every day is the same of something I don't really enjoy, spending your days not full of joy, not seeking happiness, not seeing kind of the experience and the miracles of life that are all around you, you're able to actually start to shift your mindset and shift the habits and the routines that you keep every day so that you can actually create a life that you truly love living. Expanding into your ideal future self is available to you. And this podcast is designed to teach you and actually give you actionable steps, right? It's not just the information. I'm going to give you some actions that you can take to say, I want to make these changes to my life. I want to expand my mindset. I want to change my habits. I want to become my true ideal future self. And you are more than capable. So I want to welcome you to Unleashing Happiness. I am your host, Cecilia Hendrix. And in honor of my 44th birthday, we are going to dive in today to 44 life lessons that I have learned and have truly made remarkable changes in my own life. I could hardly wait to share this list with all of you. I hope that you find it impactful and definitely take the pieces that really stand out to you. So I'm super excited to get started today. If you have any questions of anything within this episode, definitely please either leave a comment below if you're listening on YouTube or shoot me an email. It's unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendrix.com. And I'd also like to take a moment to say that if you're enjoying this podcast, if you've gotten value from it, please definitely leave a review or a rating. It really helps the podcast get out to other people and tells the platforms like, yes, this is something that should be shared and promoted to others. And I would greatly appreciate it. I love reading them when I get messages about the help that the podcast has given others, or I see it listed in the reviews. It really just brings me a spark of joy and gratitude. And I greatly appreciate every single one of you who is listening today. As I go through the list today, the purpose is to give you ideas on ways that you can use this in your own life. I'll definitely add some stories along the way, but it is kind of a long list at 44. So some I will just read off, but I feel really good about this list. I sat down with it for a while and I was looking back over the past few years, especially. And I have to say, I just feel like my 40s have been such a decade of transformation and growth. I feel more comfortable in my own skin now than I ever have before. I feel better as a person. I feel like I have more energy. I take better care of myself. I feel like my skin looks better than I did even in my 20s. I just feel really good about life. And there's so many things that I've learned along the way that I was like, man, I need to share this out because some of these I've picked up from other areas like books or things that my mother has told me. And it's so important, I think, to continue to share that wealth out with others. And so my intention in coming into recording this podcast and sharing it out is that it finds the people it really needs to find. That there is at least one person who listens to this today and says, I see myself in that. I see myself as wanting to make some changes and not knowing where to start. I see myself overwhelmed with life and feeling like I'm constantly juggling more than I can handle and that I don't take care of myself and I don't speak to myself in the most kind ways. And I'm just not feeling energized and I'm not feeling great about life. And I want this person to hear this message and know that there is another side, that you can actually make the changes that you want to make in your life, that you are able to expand and become somebody who truly loves life and has joy and happiness and sees these like beautiful pieces of life every single day, not because it's forced, but just because that's the way your mind works. That's the way you work as a human being, and you'll just glow from the inside because it's such a remarkable feeling. Every time I make a piece of content, my intention is that it reaches the right people, that even if it's only 5 people, those 5 people are the ones that really, really needed to see it today, and that it helps them in some sort of way, light some sort of spark deep inside them so that they can also start to create a life that they truly love, that they can step into being this person that they want to be, the person they know deep down they are, but they just can't find yet. In today's episode, it's just a little bit extra. I feel like these are some of the tidbits that have really opened up so much for me in my own life that I just truly know that this episode is going to find the right people. I just know it. I can feel it in my soul, and it just makes me really happy. If you do hear yourself in the description that I just gave, overwhelmed, frustrated, seeking something but not really knowing what it is, I do have a course that is launching on September 16th with live training and live sessions to teach you how to figure out not only what it is that you want, but take the actions every single week to become this person that truly loves their life, to become someone who overall just feels better, has the mental resiliency and emotional intelligence to face kind of anything that comes from life and feel better overall as a human, while also working on some goals. We'll set some actual process goals and work on it each and every day. The course is 6 weeks long. It is completely live sessions and Q&A sessions. So it will be very interactive, being able to converse with me, figure out kind of the things that you need to do to create a life that you love, create the habits that will actually lead to you becoming your ideal future self and feeling just better as a human overall. So if you'd like to learn more about that and join us as we get started, I am so excited. And you can definitely join. If you miss the September 16th date, you can join after. That's not a problem. You can jump right in. Everything will be recorded and available to you. So if you can't make it to a session, or if you want to go back and re-listen to something, you are 100% able to. You can ask your questions. We can get everything set up for you to become this person that you want to be, and for you to learn how to actually step into this. It's not just the information, it's transformation. So if you want to learn more, the link will be down below. If you have any questions about it, as always, definitely reach out. I am always happy to hear from you. It's unleashinghappiness@CeciliaHendrix.com. Now let's get into my 44 gems at 44. So these are the list of the things that I feel have just made such an impact on my life once I got them figured out, and I just shifted, right? A lot of these are mindset shifts, different ways of looking at things, and the change in life that these brought with them was nothing short of absolutely remarkable. So the first is happiness is truly an inside job. And I know sometimes that sounds so cheesy and so ridiculous, but when I look back over my life, I have realized that I have been happy and I have been sad, all based on the ways that I was looking at the world. When I had times in my life that I was blaming external things for not making me happy, like either something that happened in a relationship, like if it was like with a partner, issues that I was having with my friends, problems at work, that was always me casting blame, but I made the choice of how I was going to feel. I made the choice of what I was going to see in those situations. And when I have shifted my perception to see the small wins of my life, the things that go well, and the things that I'm truly grateful for, I feel internally happy regardless of what's going on externally. I'm able to tap into my own reserves for happiness. That doesn't mean that I'm like constantly, in the best mood ever, and I never get upset or I never get sad or I haven't grieved over the loss of loved ones or the loss of friendships, the loss of anything, a loss of a job. All those things can still be there while I'm still relatively a happy person because I find that happiness within myself. I do things to take care of myself. So happiness is truly an inside job. You're not going to find it from an external event. It really starts with you. The next is we always have a choice and no one can take what is in your mind. So I actually read both of these in the books by Dr. Edith Eger. One is The Choice, Embrace the Possible, and the other is The Gift, 12 or 14 Lessons to Save Your Life, depending on which edition of the book that you get. And so she's a Holocaust survivor. She is remarkable. The books are I think they should actually be required reading for people. They're phenomenal. And she really talked a lot about the fact that you always have a choice. In any situation, you have a choice. You may not be able to control what somebody else does to you, but you do control your reaction to it. You control how you process it. You control how you feel about yourself within that situation, going back to happiness being an inside job. And no one can take what's in your mind. Regardless of anything that's going on around you, you own what's in your mind. No one can take that from you. Create a safe place for those you love. It keeps communication open. So this was one that I learned that has not only helped me as a mother, but has helped me as a friend and as a spouse. That the more that you create a safe place, even for the tough conversations, the more that your other person, right? Whether it's your spouse or your partner, a friend, your parent, your children, whoever it is, even a colleague, the more that they're able to come to you because they feel safe, even if it's something that sucks to hear, right? And even if it's something that creates a trigger within you that you're like, whoa, I really don't like this. I don't want to talk about this. This makes me uncomfortable. The more that you learn how to emotionally regulate, to process that before reacting and go back to making a choice in the way that you're going to react and behave and, not lash out in anger, not judge somebody so quickly that they become scared to talk to you. And I know that I have been that person to other people. I know that I have been the person who very quickly reacts and gets upset, especially, I'm not going to lie, to my partners. And that is something that I really wanted to work on and just become somebody that was more safe for everybody to come to. My children, definitely out of everybody in my life, my children are probably the ones who feel the most safe coming to me to talk to me about anything. If there's anybody in this world who feels like they are loved completely unconditionally, it's my children. And so I want to provide that to others within my life. And that started by learning how to regulate my own emotions, focusing on how I could control my own moods. I don't actually control a feeling that comes up or the emotion that may come up. That just happens. Now, I think they've gotten less as I've worked on this, don't get me wrong, but of course I still have overwhelming emotions that sometimes pop up. And the thing, though, that I learned, the choice that I have is how I'm going to react to those, how long I'm going to dwell in them, and how far down the rabbit hole I'm going to go in them. So when something doesn't go my way, how frustrated am I? How much am I digging into wanting to dwell and create mental arguments? I have a choice over how I do that. In the upcoming course that I just mentioned a little bit ago, we'll be learning that as well. How can you actually continue to focus on your moods and your reactions so that you can be a safe place, not only for others, but for yourself? It feels much better when you're more in control of your emotions and you're able to actually process them, not deny them, not stuff them down, but process what you feel, allow what you feel, understand what you feel, and become curious about what you feel. Then we go into being vulnerable is scary, but also the greatest way to build true connection. There is no real rule that you can't eat dessert first. Seriously, if you think about it, there is no actual rule that was written out about that. You can eat dessert first if you want to, especially if you're a grown-up, but even sometimes for your kids, it's a beautiful way to spend the evening. Always save space for the ice cream. Wear the damn shorts or swimsuit. I look back and in my 20s, I've always thought I was a beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong. Especially I look back, I'm like, man, you're so pretty. And I would not wear shorts and I would be embarrassed to wear a swimsuit because I was so negative on my own body. I wanted everything to be perfect. And I look back and I'm sad for that version of myself because I remember being hot. It was summer and I would be wearing jeans because I didn't want to be in shorts. And I just want to go back to that version of myself and hug me and say, it's okay, wear the damn shorts. And part of that too is like, go swimming, go play volleyball on the beach, do the things that you really want to do because you enjoy doing them, not because you're worried about what other people are thinking. I can tell you that very few people are going to pay attention to you on the beach. And if they do, let them be the miserable person that they are. Anybody who's judging you to that extent and not focusing on them spending their own time enjoying themselves at the beach, that's their problem, not yours. That leads into find something you love about yourself every day. So either in the morning, go talk to yourself in the mirror. Say, oh my gosh, your hair looks fantastic today. Or, oh man, I love those shorts on me. I look amazing today. I feel really good today. I'm taking care of myself today. I was really funny. Or I helped somebody get groceries into their car. Or I took my mom out to lunch and I'm a very empathetic person. But start to find ways that you love yourself and talk about them, like actually share them with yourself or with others. Like, hey, I felt really good about this, or I did this thing and I was really happy, or I got my 50th straight day of learning to speak French and I feel really good about what I'm doing. I picked up a new book and started reading today. Whatever it is, but lean into finding stuff you love about yourself. It has become way too easy for us to put ourselves down or to make jokes against ourselves. And it almost feels uncomfortable, at least it did for me for a long time, to talk about the ways that I love myself. And I'm not anymore. I absolutely love who I am. I think I'm phenomenal. Have I done things that I really wish I hadn't? Oh yeah. Do I sometimes behave in ways that I wish I could not do anymore? Do I have things in my past that maybe I kind of wish I had not done? Yes, but they also made me who I am today, and I love who I am today. So I understand and appreciate those moments, even if I didn't like the way that I behaved. It's not about being like, oh, I was always 100% perfect, and so I love myself. It's about loving me through my faults. I'm human, I'm learning, I'm growing. And that goes into say the compliment. So if you see somebody walking down the street and you think their shoes are cool, tell them their shoes are cool. Say the compliment. Tell them their haircut looks nice. Start giving out compliments to yourself and others. The next is to listen to your kids when they share stuff they are excited about. So my sons are very into football and they're very into video games, and they will come to me and talk to me about football. And a lot of times I don't understand or I didn't watch the game. And so I'll ask them questions about it. Like, oh, who is that? What team are they on? And the same for their video games. Like they'll talk to me about something that happened or a new level that they got. And if I don't understand it, I will ask them questions about it. And not because I'm trying to force it, but because I am truly curious to understand that part of their life. They're excited about that, and I want them to share that excitement with me. And I want them to feel safe and as if I care, because I do care. A not so great feeling in life is when you're trying to share something you're excited about and you can tell that the person you love does not care, that they're just not paying attention. They're not giving you that attention. Maybe they're just staring at their phone the whole time. And start to be cognizant of that, especially with the people that you love. You want to pay attention to them. You want them to feel cared about. You want them to feel important in that moment. So get excited about the things that they're excited about and learn from them. Ask them questions. Have them teach you things about it. It is a really great way to make a better connection in all of your relationships. Perception is the key to a happy life, and assume positive intent. So the way that you see any event and the intent that you assume behind it will seriously change your life. So the world is perception, right? You and I can go to the same speaker, listen to the same speech, and walk away with two totally different messages based on what stuck out to us because of our current perception. And then for assume positive intent, how I see this, even if I feel like somebody is lashing out at me, I see it that is a part of them that feels like they have to get defensive. And so I see the positive intent behind it because it's them trying to protect themselves. So then from there, I can just say, okay, they're trying to protect them. This has nothing to do with me. That's my perception. I don't have to let this affect me. I don't have to walk around and hold this and dwell over it. I can let them manage their own reactions and actions while I focus on myself. Then we go into hydrate. I promise you'll feel better. We'll just take that one as it is. It's okay to love someone from afar. This goes for family, this goes for an ex, this goes for anyone that's in your life that is not stepping up in the way that you really need them to or the way that you deserve them to. We'll get into boundaries here in a little bit, but when you have somebody who's just continuously not treating you in a way that you really deserve and want to be treated, it's okay to love them from afar. You can say, you really don't have space in my life right now until you work out your own stuff. They are responsible for their actions. You are responsible for yours. Read more books and always keep learning. There's a difference between being victimized and being a victim. So that goes back to mindset. We're all victimized. And this actually comes from Dr. Edith Eger as well. We are all victimized, either by society, by our boss, by our friends, by our partner. We all have times of being victimized. But being a victim is a mindset that you carry with you, and it changes the way that you present yourself to the world. And you do have a choice in being a victim or being victimized. Being honest with yourself is sometimes very difficult. And this one is one of those honesty things that can be kind of hard, is that you are the common denominator in the reoccurring events of your life. So if there are things that continue to happen to you that you just don't like and you want to end, same kind of relationship patterns, whatever it is, you are that common denominator. Take a really good look at that. Curiosity is a life hack. Sometimes relationships end. That doesn't mean they didn't have beautiful moments. Any event is either a failure or an opportunity. It all depends on how you look at it. So you'll notice a lot of these are going to go back to being honest with yourself, changing your mindset, and changing the way that you view events. And you can do that. There are ways to do that. So if you want to join me and learn how, we certainly can. I do not want you to find yourself in a year from now in the same cycles that you're in, still seeking for those answers that you want to actually change your life. So join me in my course so that you can figure out how to expand beyond that and not find yourself in this exact same position. I know I'm talking about it a lot, but I have put together such a great outline for the next 6 weeks to really and truly change your life. I feel like it will be so transformational for so many people. And again, that message will find the people that it needs to. It'll find the ones that it's supposed to hit. And I can't wait. I'm really excited for it. I cannot wait until it launches and we can get started. Your mental diet is of the utmost importance. So a mental diet is all the things going on in your head. How do you talk to yourself? What is your relationship with others in your head? I'm someone who had to learn to stop doing mental arguments and inner conversations that were not aligned to the way that I wanted to live my life. I had to learn how to do that, and it has been absolutely life-changing. I know that I keep coming back to this, but I wanted to highlight that that is actually something that we're going to spend a full week talking about, and really over the whole 6 weeks, it'll all tie together, of your mental diet, how to actually remain focused on the outcome that you want, whether it's a specific outcome or a more general life change. And such a big piece of that is your mental diet, those inner conversations you're having with yourself, the way that your mind is wired to think. And we're going to branch into truly changing the way that your mind is wired so that your mental diet is much more aligned to the person that you want to be, and you'll see remarkable changes in your life. It's absolutely amazing. That's probably one of the best things that I ever did for myself, was start focusing on my mental diet. Self-care isn't selfish. It's a true necessity. There is someone out there who thinks you are the bee's knees. Splurge on the pajamas. I used to always buy myself cheap pajamas, and now that I splurge on the pajamas, I sleep so much better, and sleep is so freaking important to the way that you live. So definitely splurge on the pajamas, splurge on the sheets, make sure that you're sleeping well. Do something outside of your comfort zone often. So I made a goal for myself that every month I do something outside of my comfort zone. And it's amazing that when you do that, you're telling yourself, I can do hard things. I can do this. I can handle this. Not only did I survive, but it feels good. Like one of them in August was that I went down a ride with my son at Waterworld, which is this big water park here in Denver. And I went down this ride that completely scares me. If you've ever been to Waterworld, it's a screaming Mimi, and it scares me, and I definitely screamed, but I did it. I almost backed out at the top, and then I was like, no, I'm doing this. Like, my son's up here with me. He's super excited that we're doing this, and I'm going to go down. And I screamed the whole way, but not only did I survive, I laughed, and I mean belly laughed. It was so freaking awesome and so fun, and I'm so happy that I did it. The next is the quality of your habits truly equal the quality of your life. So every habit and routine that you keep is really attributing to the type of life that you're leading, and changing those habits and routines is honestly the key to living a life that you love, becoming this person that you want to be. So they truly do equal the quality of your life. Your brain will confirm you are correct, hence the importance of your mental diet. Faith is the belief in the currently unseen, and it will change your life. What faith do you have? And you can't say you don't have faith, right? Like if you're working towards something, if you want something to happen, like let's say that you want a job, your faith is either you're absolutely going to get the job, it's unseen, or your faith is that you're absolutely not going to get the job. You're still having faith in the unseen. So really start questioning, where is my faith? What am I putting faith into? Like when you have inner conversation arguments with people, which was a big one for me, my faith was in the fact that I was going to have that argument. It was still unseen. That hadn't happened yet. I put my faith into that things were not going to go the way that I wanted them to. And now I put my faith that they are. I remember once years ago, I was bouncing back and forth from jobs. So I left one job, went to a company, didn't really work out for me, went back to my old job, and then went back to the company that I left before in a new position about 2 years later. And I was telling my dad about it, and he looks at me and he goes, Cecilia, you can't do that. That's not how life works. Because when I went back and forth, I kept making more money, right? So it's like every time I went back and forth, I got more perks and I got more money. And my dad's looking at me and he says, but that's just not how life works. You can't do that. And I looked at him and I said, why not? And he kind of sat there for a minute and he starts laughing and he's like, you're right. Why not? And it did. It worked out very well for me, actually. And I ended up making substantially more money than I did before. And I had a job that I truly, really enjoyed. I loved doing it and it worked out great for me. And he tells that story a lot because he's like, that really touched him in a way where he was like, why not? Like, why do I have to believe that everything has to work out exactly how society has told me it's going to work? I don't need to do that. And so I love that he still shares that story because that has been almost a life motto of mine for many years now of like, why not? Why can't I do that? Why can't I try? Why not? And that one comes to one of my mom's favorite sayings that I just love that she has always said this to us. And I have really held on to it. And it's that the answer is already no if you don't ask. And she said that for years. And I mean, sometimes it would get kind of annoying, especially as a teen, but it really is true. The answer is already no if you don't ask. So why not? Do something you enjoy every single day. Your relationships will be stronger if you take care of yourself. There is a difference between creating boundaries and being controlling. That was a big one, right? Like there is a difference between having a boundary and just trying to control another person or a situation. And you don't control people, you only control yourself. Spend more time outside. Spend less time on your phone. Growth is often uncomfortable. And it is okay to lean into that discomfort. Like it's actually really good for your personal growth and your spiritual growth. All areas are going to be a little uncomfortable when you start to grow. And that's okay. It's actually a really good sign that you're becoming this person that you want to be and you're just not used to it. So it feels a little different. It can be uncomfortable. Not everyone is going to like you and you aren't going to like everyone. I really struggled growing up with being a people pleaser and wanting everybody to like me and accepting that some people just aren't, that I'm going to annoy them and they're not going to want to be around me made life a lot better for me because it's fine. If you like being around me, that's wonderful. I think that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. You don't have to like me. That's okay. The next is that gossip is like poison for the soul, and you should create more than you consume or contribute more than you consume. So when you're constantly consuming either other people's content or you're consuming things from the world constantly and you're not contributing or creating in any kind of way, it's very draining and it doesn't lead to your energy. So always pay attention to contributing or creating more than what you are consuming. And that goes back to getting off your phone and spending more time outside. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to give everybody an explanation. You can just say no. And in any situation, that's a boundary for you. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to go to dinner. No, I don't want to whatever, loan you money, do whatever. No, and no is a complete sentence. Spend time with your elders, listen to their stories. I went to lunch with my dad for my birthday, and he was telling me stories that I had never heard about my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and him as well. And it just really allowed me to have some insight into the way his mind works and the way that he sees the world and the way that my grandparents saw the world and some of the hardships that they had. And it's so neat to be able to really listen and hear those stories, and just know that those stories keep your loved ones alive, right? The only things that we have of past are our memories. And so listen to those stories and listen to your elders, right? You owe them that respect. That's how I've always seen it. I owe the respect and I want to hear their stories. And then the last one is make it a goal to laugh, actually laugh every single day. The more that you put laughter back into your life, the better you'll feel. And I mean the true, real laughter. Start playing card games that make you laugh. Tell jokes. Watch something funny. Do something that is outside your comfort zone, but that makes you laugh and feel good. And maybe even sit right now and ask yourself, when was the last time I laughed? Really laughed. I can tell you mine was last night when I was rolling around on the floor because I was showing my daughter what it would feel like if something that outweighed you 12 times ran you over and knocked you down in the grass. And I could not stop laughing. And I'm going to tell you this story because I thought it was so funny. We each have a dog, me, my mom, and my daughter. My dog is about 125 pounds. He's a big lab Dane mix. He's a little bit older now, so he doesn't always move around as great. He's about 10 years old, and he's got some arthritis in his back hips. And then my mom's got a little dog who's about 12 pounds, and he's hilarious. He's very sassy, but he's funny. He's about 5 years old. If you follow me on Instagram, he is often on my story because I help care for him from my mom. And so he's often on my story walking him. He's a funny little guy, and he's very, very sweet. And then my daughter's got a dog who's about 45 pounds, and she's only 2. She's really young, and she is bouncy. I mean, she is like a gazelle. She just bounces all over the place. So I had them over for my birthday dinner, and we're all hanging out, and the dogs are outside playing, and I went outside to watch them. And my daughter's dog, her name is Ari, she's running back and forth, and my mom's dog, Gotti, is sitting in the middle of the lawn, just kind of hanging out, watching them eating grass, just being himself, right? But he's not running around. And my dog is kind of half chasing her, half bouncing at her because he can't keep up with her. She's running around, and my dog's name is Silver. And so Silver goes to turn to chase Ari and knocks into Gotti completely. And Gotti rolls twice in the grass and gets up with this look on his face goodness gracious. And it hit me in that moment, and I just started dying laughing because I was imagine just standing out in a field in something that was 12 times your size, that was outweighed you 12 times, just ran into you and knocked you over 2 times. And I just could not stop laughing, imagining what it would be like to just be standing there and have something take you out like that. And Gotti is so resilient and so funny. He just stands up geez, guys, thanks a lot. But it really made me laugh. And it was such a beautiful, fun evening with my daughter as we were just cracking up belly laugh over imagining what it would be like if a giant took you out. So with that, I hope that you have a beautiful week. I hope that you found these enlightening and that you truly start to step into being your ideal self, really starting to love life and enjoying the person that you are. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Unleashinghappiness@CeciliaHendrix.com. And I hope you have a beautiful week, and I wish you nothing but the best.